Hello everyone. Here's another project I had on my to-do list while in isolation. It's our winter camping stove. Some of the paint is, burned off. There's a little rust on the top from when you put water, you're cooking or whatever. I've wanted to sand it down and then put some new high temp black paint on it, get it ready for another season. So I figured I would do this project. Everything packs up pretty much inside, although I do usually bring one other chimney section if I'm using the Arctic oven tent. If I'm using the snow trekker, I don't necessarily have to do that. As you can see, everything's in here, the shelves, the legs, the chimneys. So we'll get all that stuff out of there. And I think the first thing I'll do is get the vacuum and clean the inside. Put a fresh disc on here. It says it's a multi-purpose disc, so we'll see how it works on that metal. And that, I want to get my mask and my safety goggles first. So get a little closer look. Here's kind of the before picture. We'll see how that disc cleans this up. There's the side, where you can see it gets hot obviously on the side with the fire going, and it kind of cooks off that paint. So we'll get her sanded down and get some fresh paint on there, and we should be good to go next winter. The door's got a little bit of stuff on it, so we'll touch that up. And then there's the bottom. So we'll hit all those surfaces, and hopefully this disc I have in there will work on this. Otherwise I'll have to go get some other sanding paper, some emery stuff or something that'll work on metal, but I think this will work. Okay, here's what it looks like up a little bit closer. Again, my goal wasn't to get all of the paint off from there, but to get the areas that are discolored or a little bit rusted, to try and get as much of that cleaned up. And I think it did a okay job. So actually, even though the temperature is not great, I'm going to read the can and see. I might spray a first coat on here or something yet today. So there's the paint I got at one of the local hardware stores for all wood stoves, 1200 degrees, and it says it just needs to be, you know, kind of room temp and that, which it has been. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start on the bottom just so I can get used to how the can sprays and stuff, and that's why I put the legs on the stove so I can tip it and then it'll dry easier. I'm not worried about doing anything with the legs, just want to get the body, and then maybe I'll do those side trays also. So that didn't go too bad. You know, anytime you use those spray cans, you get a little bit of clumping once in a while. It said that that might happen and to twist the top, which I did a few times, and supposedly that loosens it up. But we'll let this dry a little bit, and I'm going to look at those side trays, and I might sand those and do a coat on those quick. So we'll take a look and see what those are in need of. Yeah, they've got some little rust and wear marks on it, so I guess we'll give those light sanding, and then we'll touch them up too. Well, the stove isn't completely dry yet, but let's do a little walk around. You can see how it's changed. Front door, obviously, still curing, drying. There's the side panel. top. Here's one of the side trays, the other side tray. You can kind of see the back there. And then we have this last side here. So I'm gonna let this dry good, and if the nozzle is still working on the spray can, I probably got enough to do at least another coat on the top and maybe the sides and the back possibly. So I might try and do that after it's dried real good. And then what they recommend at some point, you need to build a fire in there. And the air compressor just kicks on during the conversation. But anyway, you need to build a fire and run it for about 30 minutes to kind of cure this paint, so that once you get this out, you know, up in a tent or whatever, it's not burning off and putting smoke and smells in your tent. So obviously that'll again change the color of the top and the sides some, but that's fine. I guess this should probably be something that's done, depending on how hard it's used, almost yearly, just to maintain, you know, the quality of the stove and look for any issues. But Don builds some pretty awesome stoves, and if you haven't seen his stuff, go to his website, Three Dog Stoves. I'm not sure if he's making the steel ones like this anymore, if he's just doing titanium now. But anyway, you can take a look at his website if you're interested. And, you know, these are heavy, but they're built to last. And some of you have seen our videos from the winter camping trips, and we aren't pulling pokes into, you know, the boundary waters and skiing and snowshoeing. We usually have a snowmobile or two, and so we can afford to carry extra gear and carry heavier stuff and that. But that's it for now. I just wanted to show you another project, like I said, that I had on my list of things to do. I'm enjoying knocking off some of these projects that have been there for a while that I've wanted to do. So anyway, we'll see which project shows up next.